What is up, y'all? This is JT. I want to show you a couple things when building a deck. If you just take your razor blade and you make a little slit, you can put a string right in that little slit, and you can run your string along the edge. This is going to show you whether or not you're running straight. As you can see, it deviates a tiny bit, but that's because that board in the middle is probably a little bit warped, and when I put the other one straight across, it may push this one out just a tiny bit. So that's what you're going to do there. On your middle beam, if you don't want to use joist hangers like I didn't use them, what you can do is notch your 6x6 like so. So it's notched on the front and it's notched there. And try to do a better job of measuring and cutting. I kind of got a little bit overboard with the saw and I cut on the wrong side of the line. It happens, but as you can see, the board is pretty well in the center. And then if you need to shim it, what I'm going to do is probably drip a little bit of glue down in these cracks, and that'll kind of seal that up. But as you can see, all I got is a little triangle beam here, nothing underneath me, and it's fairly stout already. That one's tight, that one's tight, that one's tight, that one's pretty tight. I couldn't get it very tight because as I was tightening the bolt, it was pulling out of the concrete. This one actually cracked, so as I was tightening the anchor, it started pulling the anchor out, so it's a little bit loose. But because the rest of it's really tight, it still holds. And I do believe this one, yeah, it's tight too. So that's the only one that ended up loose, and that one's just a tiny bit loose. But like I said, these are all going to hold each other together. And I did the same thing on this side. So our joists are going to run this way, our deck boards are going to run this way, and then we might do an outside border. Haven't decided yet if we're going to do that. If so, we're going to have to put in another board here, and what that'll actually do is cause a lot of issues with moisture, because it'll have to split the difference and then the water will get trapped. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might just run these boards all the way across and just scrap that idea so it doesn't cause any water issues. And the reason these are cut down is because when water gets past this and gets stuck on here, if this is flat and there's a deck board running across, the water will sit there, it'll rot, and it'll get into these joints and stay there. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is drip glue in all the tops of these that are sitting out a little bit. Terrible cuts. I am not proud of that. But as you can see, this outside board needs to be pulled way in, and the string got loose because it broke. So I'm gonna have to run a new string, but it's quite a bit off. And you can see how it's gonna pull in. It's gonna pull in when I get this middle joist in. And then we're gonna go from there. I've got all these marked out. They're 17 and 5/8. So these are spread equally, not 16. If you want to do it to make it even, you just make yourself a template like this, 17 and 5/8 joist spacer, and then you space them to center, to center, to center, to center, to center, and that's how you do that. And if I'm going to put a block in the middle of that, it's going to be quite complicated, because it's going to need a 4-way notch. So that should be fun. Yeehaw!